The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili on this edition of The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise. Are you looking to lose weight in the new year? Find out how you can be your ideal you. When was the last time you got your vision checked? The team from Fichte, Endl, and Elmer Eye Care are here to help you see clearly. Then, do you like music? The Speaker Shop can set up your home with the best equipment that'll bring music to your ears. All on this edition of The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. You can listen to me mornings on the Big Whack. Joining us today on Big Whack's Buffalo on the Rise is Donna Herberger from Ideal You Weight Loss. Hi, Donna.
Hello there, Joe.
Looking wonderful as usual.
As do you.
I understand you have a video for us today.
We do. I recently sat down with one of our very successful dieters, and his name is Sam. Sam lost almost 50 pounds, folks, during COVID. He has now kept it off for over 3 years. And now he enjoys doing things that he loves to do even more, like kayaking, hiking, biking, and he recently did the Ride for Roswell for the 3rd time, and he's just such an inspiration. So let's take a look. Sam, thanks for joining us today to talk about your success with losing almost 50 pounds at the Ideal You. How did you first hear about the Ideal You?
It was during COVID. I decided to try to lose some weight. And I just felt frumpy. I had trouble, putting my socks on. Just the bending over was making it exhausting. I heard about it on, radio and TV commercials, primarily. I've had friends who have done it, and everyone had positive comments about it. So I figured I would try.
Are you more active than you used to be 2-3 years ago before joining the Ideal You?
I'm a kayaker. I like to ski. I like to ride bike. I love hiking. I noticed, in the past, putting on ski boots was a chore. Now it's not. The bending part has gotten a lot easier when there's not something in your way.
This last year, when you did the Ride for Roswell, we supported you and we were happy to be a donor for your ride. We're very proud of you. You did it in memory of your daughter.
I started the Ride for Roswell as kind of mainly to support my daughter. And I never really was an avid bike rider, so losing the extra weight made it attainable.
So where do you think you lost the most weight on your body?
Well, all over, but I noticed in my face. That's where people, I think, noticed first and most. And definitely my waist. I went from a 38 or even a 40 down to a 32 pant, and I've stayed at that for now, 3 years. Well, when people saw me for the first time, after not seeing me for quite a while, they were shocked. I look younger, I look healthy, I look good, and I look happy. And I got that from a lot of people that, oh my God, you look like a different person. It's good that people are noticing, and it validates what I did, and it makes me feel good.
That's a great testimonial from Sam. I mean, and I know him personally. I was amazed at the weight loss.
Right.
Now, will he be able to keep that off?
Well, he's kept it off 3.5 years, and he started that weight loss during COVID, lost it, as we say, your Healthy Rapid Weight Loss Center. He lost it quickly. But the best thing Sam did is when he started to gain back a little, he came back, got that off again, and now he's back in maintenance.
Now, is that all part of the program? If, in the event that you say, maybe I put a little bit more weight on so you can come back and see you again.
Absolutely. When someone's a member, they're always a member. We don't charge people to come back. You lose as much as you want to lose. If you want to phase off, take a break. whatever works for your lifestyle and for your goals. We'll get you there.
And what's this gadget here that you kind of brought with you?
This, folks, is a body composition analyzer, a BCA, and when you step on it, we input, are you a man or a woman? What is your height? What is your age? And it prints out your total weight, how much your muscle weighs, how much your fat weighs, what your bones weigh. What do you think your bones weigh, Joe?
Geez, I don't know. I mean, I'm afraid to guess. Let me think. I don't know, maybe 10 pounds?
What, you're close. Most people say 20 or 30 pounds. This is my tape, and my bones weigh a whopping 4.6 pounds. So everybody says we're big boned. Bones are not our problem. It's carrying excessive fat. But it breaks it down. Muscle, fat, hydration, your BMR, your BMI. It tells you what your ideal weight should be, and it gives you a physique rating at the bottom. This is mine, and it says I'm standard. So what does standard mean? It means I have a healthy height-weight proportion. I've got a good BMI. It might say you're thin and muscular. It might say you're hidden obesity. What's hidden obesity? Hidden obesity is somebody who looks pretty good, excuse me, but they have a lot of inside dangerous middle fat. So it's really amazing the information we can get.
See, you know, if you did that for me, I think mine wouldn't say physique, it would say I need a physic. Probably, I'm not sure. But, you know, I think that's really interesting that all of that can be figured out just by stepping on it.
Yes.
Now you talk about your bones being 4 pounds. You're petite, you're slight, but you weren't always that way, huh?
Oh no, I was 40 pounds heavier. And what our program does, it concentrated on my body, and same for Sam, losing the fat, maintaining your muscle, and that's what we monitor. We want to see the fat number going down and the muscle staying about the same. Because if you lose lean tissue and muscle, your metabolism slows down.
Really?
Yes.
See, this is all things that, you know, I think we all have a preconceived notion of what fat is, of how it, you know, we accumulate it or whatever the case may be. And you're right. I mean, if I go to the doctor and I say, you know, I don't necessarily feel that heavy, but they tell me what my body mass index is or something like that.
Your BMI.
Yeah, I kind of go,
Right.
you know what I mean? And, you know, and that's the thing that, you know, that bothers me. And I guess, you know, because I was telling you that riding a bike 20 miles a day, it's more than just that. You know, you've got it's portion control and things like this too. But you help people with all of that, right?
We do. You can exercise on our program if you want to, but you don't have to. And women on our program lose 2 to 4 pounds a week. Men always lose a little more, a little faster, usually 3 to 5 pounds a week.
Why the difference?
Because men by nature have more muscle, women by nature have more fat. Muscle is the engine that burns the calories. That's why an Olympian like someone like Michael Phelps, he can eat 8,000 calories a day because the man is all muscle. But he also spends 2 to 3 hours a day in the pool or the gym when he's in training. The average American doesn't spend 2 to 3 hours a day in the pool or in the gym. We can't eat whatever we want. So we have to portion control, eat the right foods, and maintain that muscle.
All right, what's the first step? We only have a minute left. What's the first step for people getting started?
Okay, quickly. Go to our website, idealu.com. Sign up for an in-person or virtual open house. Find out more information. Fill out a few forms, a health profile, a doctor's permission form, and then we'll get you scheduled to get going.
Got it. Just fantastic. Always great talking to you.
Thank you.
For more information and answers to your questions, contact the Ideal You Weight Loss Center by calling 716-631-THIN. That's 716-631-8446, or go to idealu.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the following. I'm Joe Chili. You can listen to me mornings on the Big Weck. Joining us today on the Big Weck Presents Buffalo on the Rise is Dr. Colin Anderson from Fichte, Endl, and Elmer Eye Associates. Welcome today.
Thank you, Joe. Good to be here.
Glad to have you here. You know, when do people, when we start talking about their eyesight, is it a misnomer to think that people, when they hit 40 years of age, boom, that's it. That's when your eyesight changes?
It's a continuous process. In 40 years of age is when it might be noticeable, but it actually starts at birth. A lot of the changes inside the eye where you start to need reading glasses when you're 40, it has been creeping up and creeping up for years and years and years, and then finally you notice it in your vision around 40.
You know, my grandmother used to make me feel so good because she says, you know what happens is you're born and then every day after that you kind of die a little bit. And that's exactly what it seems like you're talking about glasses when you're talking about the eye. The eye ages right from the point of birth, huh? Well, that's pretty amazing. So when do most people see a change in their eyesight?
So the reading glasses start in the 40s, and then an ophthalmologist or an optometrist who looks at your eyes with a microscope may be able to look in and say, well, you have the start of cataracts around that age, and say the lens on the inside of the eye, if you picture a camera lens, is starting to become a little bit cloudy. But that's not apparent to you looking out through your eyes until later. You know, we can see it with a microscope first, and then eventually it will start to affect the vision. Things become cloudier and cloudier. Glare at nighttime is a very typical early symptom. People have trouble driving with headlights coming at them, having difficulty seeing the lines on the road when it's raining at nighttime especially, and then eventually losing the fine print, even with good glasses on, and having to turn on more and more lights around the house as the cataract gets more and more mature. And that may be in the 60s or 70s or even the 50s sometimes when people start to notice those symptoms.
Are people resistant to getting cataracts because, or cataract surgery, I should say, because they feel, oh no, I don't need it. I'm not getting older. I mean, I don't need glasses. I don't need this. I don't need that. Do you get resistance?
A little bit. But then people, I think, are very quick to understand when we have the conversation that this is not the same cataract surgery as your grandparents and your parents had. This technology has come a long way. Cataract surgery is much safer, much more reliable, much more repeatable than it was even 20 or 30 years ago. So because of that, when we look at a risk-benefit balance as a surgeon, it happens much earlier that it's in the patient's favor. So the benefit is there, and the risk is so much smaller than it was 20 or 30 years ago that you don't have to lose good years of your vision waiting and waiting and waiting for that equation to tip in your favor. That happens in the 50s and 60s now. And once people understand that, they're excited about it.
All right, so to kind of back up from cataracts for a second, are there any specific or general eye problems that you wish people would have come to you sooner with?
The big one is glaucoma. When you see a late presentation, when somebody comes in late in the course of glaucoma, you really wish you had met them earlier, because that is a very slowly progressive process with no symptoms early on, but any changes that do happen because of glaucoma are typically irreversible. So your treatment options as a doctor are designed to slow down or halt the progression of the disease, but there's nothing to reverse the progression of the disease. Cataracts, we're very fortunate because we can get that cataract, that cloudy lens out of there, and we can get a clear lens implant in, and that's entirely reversible. So it's a little bit of a different picture.
What about your traditional eye exam? How often should people generally, if they don't have a problem like, you know, diabetes or something like this, when should they really go in for eye exams? I mean, and it's something that people tend to overlook.
I think every year, especially over the age of 40, and that's really what the big societies of ophthalmologists and optometrists agree upon. Getting the back of the eye checked with dilating drops, that's a part of the body that only an ophthalmologist can look at, only an optometrist can look at, one of those two professions. It's not like your skin, you know, where you look at and you say, well, I have this mole here and that hasn't been changing for 15, 20 years, so I'm not worried about it. If you have something like that going on in the back of the eye, there's only one person who can look at it, so you got to come in every year. And it's, you know, early diagnosis of glaucoma, monitoring anything that is picked up there. It's hopefully quick in and out where you say, nope, everything looks good, I'll see you again in 1 year. But every once in a while we find something very important, and we're glad that somebody took the time to come in.
And the method, or what the procedure. If somebody comes in and you examine them and they have the beginnings of cataracts, how long before they actually have to have surgery generally?
Well, surgery is designed to fix a problem. And cataracts aren't a problem until they're affecting somebody's vision. So if somebody is unhappy with the way that they're seeing, and based on the eye exam it's due to the cataract, with the modern technology that we have, I mean, that's where it's reasonable to start talking about surgery and consider doing surgery.
What about lunch and learns? What are people going to find out? We hear about your lunch and learns all the time. What do they find out at their lunch and learns?
So Lunch and Learn is a free lunch paid for by the practice, where one of the surgeons, either myself, Dr. Endl, or Dr. Elmer, will come in and we'll go over a presentation about cataract surgery. We'll talk about what a cataract is, some basic anatomy of the eye and why we have to do cataract surgery, and talk briefly about lens implant options at the time of cataract surgery. And having that information kind of under your belt before you come into the practice for a consultation is very helpful, because then we can spend time talking about the things that are specific to you. And instead of spending a lot of time on the general information, where you have about 15 to 20 minutes to get through everything, you can spend that 15 or 20 minutes saying, but here's your specific situation, and here are the specific options for you that make a lot of sense.
And people shouldn't be worried about, does it hurt?
It does not hurt. Do not be worried about that. So we have plenty of medications to keep you comfortable. And after the surgery, the most that most people feel is a little bit like an eyelash stuck under the eyelid or a couple grains of sand in the corner of the eye. Very mild discomfort that improves quickly.
Very good. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Colin Anderson. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Fichte, Endl, and Elmer Eye Care by calling 1-800-309-2020 or go to fichte.com. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment provided by the following. I'm Joe Chile. You can listen to me mornings on the Big Weck. Joining us today on the Big Weck Buffalo on the Rise is Guy Agello from the Speaker Shop. Guy, it's nice to have you here, by the way.
Thank you, Joe.
You know, if I walk into a place like the Speaker Shop, I'm in heaven. And it's not just being in radio, it's the fact that it's all the things. It's like a kid in a candy store.
It's an adult toy store.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you put it that way, I don't know if it's an adult toy. It's an adult toy store. We have to watch the way we say it. But I think that you're exactly right. What got you interested in the business?
My love of music. First and foremost, my lack of talent in being able to play an instrument. So I aspired to try and hear the stuff that I really liked to the best fidelity possible.
Now, we hear the term audiophile. How would you define an audiophile?
Well, there's two separate categories here. There's the person who loves music and wants to achieve a closer experience, a more profound experience. And then there's the person who's a gearhead, an audio equipment junkie. And that's fine too, but both kind of meet at the same place at some point.
So if I were to walk into your home, would you have top of the line audio equipment in your home?
Depends on what day of the week we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, we've got a variety of different things that are in the house, and it's all about the enjoyment of it. Sometimes I want to sit down in front of a great system and just be transported away, and other times it's a background thing. So
it's not a rat race. It's not like the fact that, okay, this came out, I've got to buy this. This came out, I got to buy this. This came out, I got to buy this.
Well, you can go into the technology, right down the rabbit hole with it, trying to keep up with it. But the end result should be that you're, experiencing something that improves your life and makes, gives you joy from the experience of the music and the performance.
Now, use the Your Home Entertainment Store tag. Kind of expand on what you mean by that.
Well, there's so many different variables of what is possible today. I mean, we do projection home theaters. We do dedicated, distribution systems where we've got, 8, 10, 12 rooms with audio in all those rooms and controlled by a wireless control system. We have 2-channel audio systems. So there's a variety of different things. So, and they all kind of come together as a home entertainment, so to speak.
So, excuse my ignorance, but are the days of punching holes in walls and feeding wires through walls done?
No, we're still doing that. And traditional wired speakers still have a place in the ecosystem of your home audio. So there's a variety of different ways. There's a lot of solutions to whatever problems, or whatever a customer wants to achieve.
Whatever challenges.
Yeah,
right?
and there's challenges. Whether it's an older house where you're remodeling or it's a new build. It's about making it a turnkey so that it's a pleasurable experience.
So when someone purchases something from you, do they come in and know exactly what they want, or do they say, I want somebody to come into my home and tell me what I want or need?
It's a good question. Generally, it's the process of going through with the customer, asking questions. People aren't as informed because there's so many different options available today. It's not like the days when we had 3 channels of television and FM radio.
Right.
So there's a lot of different things that are able to be done, and with some questions we can consult and determine what's best.
What kind of brands do you offer?
A variety of great brands, some that people would know, like Macintosh, for example. Others, from companies that are lesser known. But I mean, we carry we're the speaker shop, so we carry a great array of speakers from world famous manufacturers. If you dig into it, they're not household names. Wilson Audio, Magico, Bowers and Wilkins. Those are all highly regarded companies.
What about you mentioned speakers, but you sell audio components as well, right?
Yeah.
What kind of different things?
As I said, Macintosh. We also carry Rotel. We carry Anthem. These are all great brands. Receivers, amplifiers,
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
compact disc players, streamers. Pretty much every category that is available in consumer electronics.
And price point. The average individual. Are we talking about people that are looking for very high quality?
Yeah, well, introductory. I mean, we have introductory price points. We have intermediate price points. We have, as in any hobby, there are extremes. Where you go into luxury prices that can be astronomical. But if somebody wants to take a Lamborghini out for a ride on a Sunday afternoon, who am I to say, don't do it?
Absolutely. And how long have you been in business?
Since 1977.
Oh, so it's not something that's relatively new. And do you offer products for sale on your website?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. We have some manufacturers allow us to sell their brands online. Some manufacturers do not want their products to be available through that portal. So but we have a variety of things available through the website.
Nothing compares. You can talk about selling online, but nothing compares to actually coming in and experiencing.
Absolutely correct. I mean, once you have an opportunity to get a good demonstration and feel and hear and see what that quality brings, it's a game changer.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Speaker Shop by calling 716-837-1557 or go to speakershop.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the following.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Big Wack Presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigwack.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to the Big Wack, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big Wack Presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.